Cooper Pedy, really down under. Cooper Pedy, a dusty town in South Australia, sits atop the world's rated known deposit of opal, a milky white gem with veins and flecks of color. In hopes of striking it rich, gemstone miners endure the harsh outback environment. They suffer through dust storms, flies, and midsummer temperatures higher than 120 Fahrenheit degree, which means around 50 Celsius degree. To escape the heat and the blights, people of Cooper Pedy go underground. They carve homes called dugouts into the hills overlooking the town. Subterranean living has become normal in Copenhagen. There are shops, hotels, churches, and restaurants underground. The miners arrive. The first opals in Copenhagen were discovered by a 14-year-old boy, Willie Hutchinson, who was looking for gold with his father in 1950. Many soldiers returning from World War One came to the area and dug the first underground residence. A settlement took shape, which Aborigine, which means the original inhabitants of the area, called Cooperpedy, meaning white man's barrow. Most miners arrived in 1960s and 1970s, immigrating to Australia and Cooperpedy from around the globe. The current population of 3,500 includes members of more than 40 ethnic or national groups, including Greeks, Poles, German, Italians, Serbs, and Croatians. They live together in relative harmony, producing 80% of the world's output. Dealers from Hong Kong buy the opals directly from the miners because large companies cannot mine here. Mining permits are sold only to individuals or small groups. Rough edges. Like many mining communities, Cooper Pedy is a rough and rugged town. Trucks with explosive signs on their sides clatter around the streets. A sign outside the thriving movie theater politely asks patrons not to bring any dynamite. Card games turned into 3-day activities, and mining disputes are settled with first fist fights in the pubs. The community takes a liberal attitude toward this behavior. After all, minors will be minors. Its rough exit notwithstanding, Cooper Pedy has a warmth and raw charm. Many residents claimed, claimed that long ago they stopped out only for gasoline and never left. Some fell in love with the unique, though sometimes scary, scenery. Just outside town are colorful rocky outcrops used at the location for numerous films including Red Planet and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. All around, the dryland farms moonscape are cut through by fencing, which keeps wild dogs out of the sheep farming country to the south to eat. Tourism is flourishing, and unlucky miners have opened apple shops, cafes, and underground motels. Still, this is a working town, and tourists had better watch their step. Peter Rao, formerly the head of the mine rescue squad, pulled plenty of dead and broken bodies out of mine shafts during his career. The dirt tracks that cross the upper field have many warning signs. Tourists have died after carelessly walking backwards while taking photographs. If the holes don't get you, the monster trucks will. Home is where the dirt is. To create a typical dugout, you need a hill and a trail. Most home diggers tunnel into a hillside, which is a lot easier than digging straight down. If the hill doesn't have a side of exposed rock, bulldozers put sand and loose soil away until a sandstone face emerges. Dugouts in the 1980s, before Cooper Pedy established a town government, were usually blasted into a hillside, not actually dug. Drilling with huge rigs meant to bore tunnels through mountains is now the technique of choice. The homes are essentially artificial caves, but don't assume there is anything primitive about them. Three-bedroom plans are common, and having your cave drilled out costs about the same as building a new above-ground home of similar size. Needless to say, the structure is solid, which creates some challenges. Electrical wiring has to be placed in grooves in the rock and then plastered over. Plumbing is set in similar grooves. The hills inside the town limits were all claimed soon after the compass of dugout living became well known. Cooper Pedy had to expand not because it needed more space, but because it needed more hills. Some town planners predict that Cooper Pedy will sprawl out to great distances as more miners seek a place to burrow. Some paved roads have been laid, most of them running along the faces of the hill and out of the mine shafts. A lot more will need it if homeowners head to the far-flung hills. One home, a comfortable dugout near the Serbian Orthodox Church, illustrates the advantages of underground living. Outside, it is pushing 104 Fahrenheit C degree means 40 Celsius degree. This is relatively mild for January in Cooper Pedy, but hot nonetheless. Inside, it is blessedly cool. The low ceiling and honey-colored stone walls give a feeling of safety and refuge. Areas, rugs, and comfortable furniture soften the interior. Appliances are set into custom cave nooks. Home sweet home.